Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Social security for Nigerians is eminent now in order to reduce poverty in the country. This could give empowerment to high school and college graduates, the unemployed, poor Nigerians, and even those that have retired, but are yet to collect their benefits. In advanced nations like EU and the US, social security benefits every eligible citizens from the age of 18 that has no gainful employment, whether such citizens are graduates of high school or college. This is to curb situations of presumable crimes in their society. In the same vein, they also take care of their aged and retired ones. However, the anticipated social security scheme in a similar form has been flagged off as rapid response register by the Vice President, Yemi Osibanjo, as an FG scheme to lift 20 million Nigerians from poverty in 2 years. Welcome to Spectacle. I am Daniel Atai. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the discussion with the analyst in the studio. Please stay tuned.
The issue here we have to begin to look at is that at the time of independence, I don't know if there was a trajectory to where we are going to.
But how could it be that credible, free, and fair under manual conduct of election?
That is where our problem lies, and that is why people are now saying that, advising that we should move, that the world has gone into digital. We should move from the manual to the digital.
We cannot keep doing same thing and expecting a different result.
The only way you create jobs from your ministry is that you have to encourage local content.
If you look at the profile of Salimama,
there is a caveat in this leave given to him. He should seek medical help if he's fine.
Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. Welcome back. With me on Spectacle today is Comrade Dantata Salihu Mahmood. Comrade Dantata Salihu Mahmood is the acting chairman, Arewa Youth for Security, Peace and Security, and Director, Security Salute Nigeria Initiative. Comrade Dantata, if I misplaced that portfolio, please correct me. Welcome to Spectacle.
You're on track. Good afternoon, Nigerians and our brothers and sisters in diaspora, and you, the erudite anchorman.
Thank you very much. Social security, at last we are beginning to do something. Could you throw a preamble before we go into the report we have of the flag off of 20 million Nigerian citizens to gain social security via this NIMSI link and whatever that the federal government has just done through the Vice President? What could you tell us about social security first before we go into that?
Well, in my limited knowledge, I think when you talk about social securities, these are some of the constitutional responsibility regarding some of the incentives, some of the welfare, some of the services government owe its citizens in order for these citizens not to be found lacking. And most of these social security initiatives are prominent and practicable in most communist societies and socialist societies. If you take example, in those days when Russia, other countries used to practice that, where the state is in control of everything. In advanced democracy and even parliamentary systems like that of the UK, Canada, and what have you, these are some of the benefits citizens enjoy from government, for example, from healthcare to education to even housing. and even other things that I mentioned today. That is why you see people from Africa, Asia, and other developing countries, they jostle to get citizenship of countries like United Kingdom, Canada, and United States of America, because you enjoy social security as regarding having to safeguard your health if eventually you have some health hazard or you have some educational shortcomings and what have you. There are certain percentage of this responsibility that the government takes care. I will give you a vivid example of America, for instance. There is a standard 30-year mortgage plan for every person in the shores of America where you can benefit for mortgage. So also the National Social Health Insurance Scheme, which is not only for people working with government, it as well extends to the private citizens. So this is what differentiates some of the first world countries like UK, US, Canada, and others with developing countries like ours in Africa, because these social services are lacking, these social security are lacking, where today you find that for you to access healthcare, it has to be according to your pocket. For you to access education for your children, it has to be according to your pocket. For you to access housing as well, and as other things. So these things are done in shores of countries like UK, US, Canada, and other countries like I mentioned to you. That if today we are not praying for that, you have some devastating health, what have you, there are certain payments that the government takes care regarding, because that policy is a standard policy that they already have in place. So which is to tell you their own social security extends from education to healthcare to housing and others. Anything provided you have attained the age that their constitution and law of their land prescribes to benefit from it. Even people that are not citizens of these countries, because I know of a friend who gave birth in the United Kingdom, and most of the policy, they enjoyed it, and most of others. So in my limited knowledge, this is what I understand by social security, and I can tell you vividly, Nigeria and African countries majorly are opposite of this when compared to these countries I mentioned.
And you think there is African continent, there is nothing like social security at all, even in Ghana,
when you are,
Libya?
you see, when you are even unable to address criminal justice administration, when you are unable to address effective policing. I will give you an example before you bring up your question. Okay. This one is even something that relates to healthcare, education, housing. There is a situation in Lagos where a conductor, because of his status, one smart Chukuma, came back in the afternoon, and the neighbor's child who is 10 years old had to shout, and the next thing, they took this guy in custody to the station, Ikeja Area Command, without any proper investigation. He was taken to the correctional center, custodial center. Even the high court form that is taking care of the case, each time it is adjourned. For this guy, Smart Chukuma, who is a conductor, to be taken to court is a problem. What am I trying to tell you? A country that does not even care about its own citizens, because, okay, this guy is just a mere conductor. So what I'm trying to tell you, in a way, certain issues that touches us directly, they are not taking care of it. So I can tell you with evidence that most African countries, except countries like Libya, during late Muammar Gaddafi, because to be fair to him, during the Gaddafi days in Libya, Libyans enjoyed social security from healthcare to education to housing. In fact,
and even
cars and host of others. So outside Libya then, during Gaddafi, I don't know of any country in Africa. Rather, the little one you even have, they take it away.
Well, I think...
Or do we call that of Nigeria, where the vice president goes and starts sharing more to 2 naira for organizers and mechanics? Do we call it social security?
So, well, the vice president again has flagged off a rapid response register through the collective effort of NIMSI registration now that the Minister of Humanitarian and Disaster Management, Ajia Farouk, they want to begin social security in a way to lift about 20 million Nigerians from poverty within the next 2 years. And it is a 10 years plan program which will lift about 100 million Nigerians in, of course, in that 10 years. So if We'll take that story now so that our audience and viewers will understand what the Nigerian government is about to do to lift them out of poverty, and at the same time to lift them, to give them, to cushion the effect of COVID-19 effect on them. Enjoy the program. Social Security for Nigerians, Eminent. The federal government to lift 20 million Nigerians out of poverty in 2 years and 100 million in 10 years, says the Vice President, Osinbajo. The Economic Sustainability Plans ESP cash transfer scheme has been activated in the country, and the presidency has assured this administration's readiness to empower Nigerians from the scourge of poverty and effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking in Abuja on Tuesday, 8 January 2021, during the flag-off of the cash transfer scheme via technology known as the Rapid Response Register, RRR, the VP Osinbajo said this administration's vision of reducing extreme poverty in the country is a reason for this triple R response, which would lift at least 20 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 2 years. And according to a statement issued by his spokesman, Laolu Akande, the scheme, known as a Rapid Response Register, is aimed at delivering financial support to at least 1 million urban-based households using technology, while urban poor and vulnerable population can be speedily identified using geographic satellite technology and other related means for the purposes of delivering cash to households affected by the fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. The statement reads, in part, the groundbreaking success of the RRR now emboldens us to achieve our aspiration of a social security program for a minimum of 20 million Nigerians in the next 2 years. This will be the largest of its kind on the continent. This aspiration is, at least from the perspective of this tested approach, now well within our reach. The only constraint, of course, is the funding, which we must look for, because this country deserves a social security scheme that will not merely alleviate poverty, but also create wealth for the millions of those who are waiting for this opportunity. Our government launched the National Social Protection Policy NSPP in 2017 to provide a framework for institutionalizing the work we started since 2016 on reducing extreme poverty in Nigeria, based on our administration's vision to create a comprehensive social security program for the poor and vulnerable, and thereafter the pledge to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. The statement further quoted him, as of 31st December 2020, we have identified and registered about 24.3 million poor and vulnerable individuals into the National Social Register, equivalent to about 5.7 million households. Through this project, we are currently injecting about 10 billion directly into the hands of about 2 million poor and vulnerable people every month. This is about the largest evidence-based effort by any administration on poverty reduction, and its impact on the lives of the poor is huge. By way of improving the livelihoods of the beneficiaries through enhanced household purchasing power, smoothing consumption, increasing savings and acquisition of household assets, and improving the local economy, there are many more ramifications to it. Prior to this moment, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Farouk, said the initiative would provide a gateway to other important government programs, adding that Nigeria now has a database for impact tracking and the expansion of social interventions and related programs, in line with President Muhammadu Buhari's vision of extending financial support to more Nigerians, she said. By design, this register links to other databases such as banking information of respondents and national identity numbers. It is also a process that is advanced in unifying national data bank towards the delivery of social development in Nigeria. There is no doubt that in future, as has been demonstrated in the previous presentation, we would be reverting to the process used here and the register itself to aid emergency assistance. Meanwhile, the World Bank Country Director for Nigeria, Mr. Sobham Chowdhury, commended the federal government for the initiative, noting that it is vital to the country's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Sobham pledged the support of the World Bank for the project, however, emphasized the need for stakeholders to remain transparent in the selection and disbursement of the funds to the beneficiaries. From the above statement, about 3,115 households received alert of payment instantly at the flag-off of the project by the Vice President, noting that a total of 1 million households would be impacted directly under the scheme in the next 6 months. Welcome back. This is still Spectacle, and I believe you enjoyed that reportage. Now, Dantata is still in the studio. Nigeria has begun a kind of a financial assisted social security via the Rapid Response Register. And I think it has to do with this harmonization of data analysis via what we are doing now in the country, this NIMC registration, harmonizing everybody's identification number and to the BVN and to whatever card that you have so that you could benefit. Now, do you see any 40 start with this kind of social security empowerment?
Well, I appreciate the gesture of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration towards enhancing this social security, even though I will describe it as something that is far below world standards and international best practices. I would like to say that, first of all, we already are talking about linking it with the NIN, that is National Identification Number, BVN, and host of others. Well, as one of the United Nations Under-Secretary stated, let it be accompanied by fairness, equity, and transparency. Most of these similar initiatives the government had embarked on before, what crippled and killed the total success was nothing more than corruption, nepotism, favoritism, and self-centered interests, where certain people of the major party holding key positions in the legislature, in the executive, and other spheres of the government felt it was their birthright. Therefore, it must be an advantage to be benefited by only members of their parties other than generality of Nigerians. Because when you are talking about social security, you don't restrict it to party membership. You don't restrict it to family. You don't restrict it to cronies. You extend it to generality, irrespective of class, tribe, and religion. That's so correct. The questions now are, the ministries of humanitarian, social development, and others, as well as labor ministries, what modalities have they put in place? Is it that they are going to involve and contract consultants to ascertain and verify the authenticity of certain database they will bring for them, since it's going to be from the NIN, what have you, the BVN, as well as others. Because when you are talking about data in the country,
and 10 billion,
we have data
10 billion goes out every
even
month.
In number plate registration, there is a data that is shared in between the Nigerian police, the road safety, as well as the vehicle inspection offices. So that also is necessary. Then that of the NIN is necessary, as well as that of the BVN. So the amount, comrade, is not even the matter. I will even make one example. I know you when you were a councillor in local government in Benue State.
Okay.
You have people that you are followers and what have you.
Yeah.
Till now, as your governor, His Excellency Autumn paid you a severance allowance. So let's start from there. So how now come you are not able to even satisfy even issues related to severance of your own politically appointed people under APC government? Then you are talking about general social security. What happened to the flag off of what the vice president did regarding mechanics, artisans, and others of certain incentives they gave to them? Did it continue? Then what is the criteria for this? Who are the categories of beneficiaries? So these are questions we need to ask. So, and my own suggestions are fire brigade approach and timely incentives are not key to ending poverty. We have important banks like Bank of Agriculture, Bank of Industry. We have the Small and Medium Scale Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria and others. We have the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Company. We have the Anchor Borrowship by NISA.
Yes.
The issues I'm saying is that rather than wasting this 10 billion, what have you,
monthly,
why don't we diversify into empowering people for every home to go into agriculture? Whatever you can develop, whatever crop you can farm. We should, so that this money,
even if they diversify this money to these agencies and institutions that gives that money, like the Bank of Agriculture, Bank of Industry, NISAR, and so on, you will still find out that people there will give you some serious protocol to follow. And those protocols, the past 1 year, I applied in NISAR just for farming. Up to now, they are the ones that say we should apply through online. We apply this, apply that. No record is showing that I even applied, except you belong to a cooperative or
maybe you know a senator,
or you know a senator,
or you know,
or you have to bribe somebody there.
One big one at the party.
Yes, one House of Rep member said we should bring our names, and we are expecting 10 million to go and farm. I said I put in for cassava processing farm. My name has been there. You know, they said they are bringing some people to lecture you, to train you, whatever. You know, all this, all that, up to now. You understand? So I don't know which way. Do you suggest that the FG will rather do it from local government, even from local government to local government, the 774,000 job? You saw how it took time, and right now, as I speak to you, people's names were subchanged at the local level. That is not the fault of the president or the vice president or the minister Hajia. You remember, most governors said that time that they said that they didn't collect anything like palliative. When NSAS began, we discovered that palliative.
But those palliative you saw in the warehouses that were looted.
Yeah.
You saw is a COVID written on them.
Okay.
And if people must know, the federal government palliative under humanitarian differs from COVID. COVID was entirely a private sector driven initiative. Contribution from people like Femi Otedola, Dangote, banks, Lumelu, and a host of others. So people mistaken a lot of things at that time. So I don't think up till now the honorable minister has any justification. Okay, what about the ones that were found in Area 10 that they wanted to loot in FCT here? That is under the Minister of State. Are we also saying that this one? So the issues are. So the issue of palliative up till now, they still owe us explanations. So I think regarding the questions you asked, you see all these issues of saying we are going to disburse 10 billion into accounts of different people, they are not even necessary when certain things are done in the right directions. Let me give you an example. If today me and you and others, the public schools we attended are brought back to how they used to be with standard learning tools. Our hospitals, where you don't need to go and spend even 20,000 for cancer-related case, for diabetic-related case, where today you can spend maybe 2,000 to get the highest medical attention, where you have security, where you can approach some of these government banks I mentioned, like Smedan, Bank of Industry, Agriculture, and host of others, to access loan, to become self-reliant, to either set up a shop or go into trading or other things, where certain things are put in place, where there are good roads, where we are encouraged into agriculture. We don't need it. So it is the lacking of these things that are creating this issue of saying, let us now do this through data and share this. Even if they share whatever is in our for excess crude account, foreign reserve, I tell you, it will still be the same story. Because you cannot dash somebody a fish. It is better you teach that person how to catch that fish. So I think all these, their policies, are fire brigade approach. So I think above all, let first of all the Buhari government set a pace for this social security we are saying, where we can access health care. Like now, government has national health insurance scheme. Do you know, even with the federal government workers that are benefiting from it, there is certain amount that when it gets to your SMO, or how do they even call it, the hospital that provides you the services, there are certain amount that once it exceeds those amounts, you as a civil servant, you have to pay from your pocket. Now it has not been generalized to even say all the civil populace. So let them do things the way they are supposed to be. Let them tackle social security by way of addressing healthcare sector, education sector, power sector.
What about unemployment? If you are coming out from college?
Unemployment and host of other things. You see, this issue of unemployment, they have solutions to it. The problem is the issue of favoritism and one-sided, what have you. Because I will give you an example. Now we are facing insecurity. Even with our able-bodied youths wants to join armed forces like Navy, Air Force, Army, police, immigration, what have you, are they having the opportunity to join it? And you want to curb and end unemployment? It's not possible. Because even the uniform one that people know that in one way or the other, while trying to lay your life for the country, you can die. They are just willing to join, but they are not given the opportunity. Even the lower cadre of the other ranks and rank and file, they are not giving them the opportunity. Where children, able-bodied adults who wants to go to depot and become land army, go to Navy base school and become naval officers, as well as the Air Force, as well as immigration, they are not given the opportunity because they are being waylaid, they are being manipulated out, except the ones that know some highly placed people. So how do you now create employment?
So what do we do?
One
Moses Godwin through Facebook is saying the only solution is to divide the country. Is that a solution?
Well, you see, there is one Fuji musician.
What do we do? Do we start this social security from the local government when somebody eligibility starts from 18, and then retirement from 64 and 65?
For teachers, they are trying to make it 65.
65.
But for civil servants, it's 60 years.
And some people, even after saving their taxes with government, at the end they retire, they don't get the pension.
Because of this IPPIS and pension contribution scheme, it has wiped away quite a number of things. At the even leave civil servants. For if you come to like police and the military people, when they retire, outside the gratuity, the pension is nothing to write home about.
Do you suggest, for instance, that if from local government data is collected across the 774 local government, and across schools as we are coming out? After all, that, I don't know.
Erudite, let's not deceive ourselves. Okay. Let's call a spade a spade.
All right.
Are our data accurate? That's question one. Even this national identity number you are talking about, already go to areas within FCT, Guagwalada. I've monitored quite a number of them. People are even giving 6,000 or 7 to NIN officials to get the registration. Is that how you are going to get accurate data? There is no way they will rule out abracadabra and bruha from this process. Because even with the capturing, with the way they are going, corruption is already in it. Therefore, I don't foresee accuracy in the data presentation and all of others. So at the end of the day, whether they like it or not, this thing is still going to fall in the hands of the highest bidders.
So what is the actual problem with Nigeria that nothing...
Corruption. Corruption, lack of patriotism, lack of honesty, lack of selflessness, then also going contrary to sworn oaths. People swear by Quran before being appointed. People swear by Quran before being appointed, even judges and host of others. What happens? Like one of my learned ulama said, he said at the end of the day, they will go and be doing istighfar in Islam. If you want to say, God forgive me, there's a thing we do, istighfar, astaghfirullah, and host of other things. Somebody said it that was why Wole Soyinka once said it is high time, with due respect to my religion, Islam, and those of you, the highly respected Christianity too.
I'm not a religious man. No.
They should go to start swearing with God of Shango. Because it appears God of Shango, he strikes immediately. So you see, one Fuji musician, even though I'm not a Yoruba, but I listen to their music, Dr. Sikiru and Barista of blessed memory, he say our English in Nigeria, that it is every day it moves geometrically, that we even understand English than British Parliament. And it was the British that colonized us. So you see, it is when we overhaul the system. If we don't overhaul,
how do we overhaul? Restructure it, or do we?
Well, I don't want to go into that because that is a
like
very controversial aspect that has not been given answer to. Let us put the fear of God
or attitude.
Without the fear of God, you can't change attitude. If now I know that when I insult your religion, it will affect me spiritually. That is fear of God. So whether Muslim, Christian, or whatever religion, let us put the fear of God. The fear of God.
Let us be godly.
It will bring about patriotism. It will bring about devotedness. It will bring about selflessness, as well as honesty, and as well guiding against certain things that are not good for us as humans.
I've seen friends, close friends just like you, that were struggling to make it in life, and some of them even took quote and say, I swear if I get 1 million, Dan, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to help people in the village. I'm going to do this. And we grew up, we saw ourselves in certain positions, and then the money came. I said, you remember the oath we took that time, you know? You say you swore that when you have 1 million,
because there's no fear
this is what you are going to do. Behold, my friend ran away with his million.
Why are the likes of
went to the city.
Late elder statesmen like Obafemi Awolowo, Sir Ahmadu Bello Sardauna Sokoto, KBE, Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Dennis Osadebe, as well as others are being remembered since their assassination in 1966. It's because they were patriotic, they were selfless. Look at free education in the Southwest. Awolowo did it, right? Look at most of the people that you are seeing as ministers and what have you. Without Ahmadu Bello's stance that they must get educated, we ought to have gotten independence 4 years before 1960. But he stood and said, but today, don't we have high rate of Almajiri in the North?
Yes.
So all these things is because they are not, most of them, with due respect to some that are still good, majority of them are not patriotic and selfless. Because if they are selfless, those so-called houses, cars, and investment they have, they will say, Kai, one day, I will not breathe anymore. So it is high time I start contributing it to what have you. So no matter what good policy President Muhammadu Buhari will bring, he is lacking in AIDS. Majority of his ministers are not patriotic. Majorities of his advisors are self-centered. Even some of his elected senators, House of Reps, there are some that are good, like I told you. But he's lacking with formidable team, with patriotic team. And that is why the government has been having a kind of, you know what they call jalopy? When a car is outdated. That's why the government is having a kind of jalopy movement. He himself, to some extent, is patriotic. But if you are lacking in team...
That is what Mr. Sobam, the director, the World Bank country director, said. I think he said he commended the federal government for the initiative, but noting that that this program is vital to the country's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. He, however, said that it has to be transparent in the selection and disbursement of the funds to the beneficiaries. He said transparency, just like you said. Nevertheless, we'll take a short break with this little clip of your ambassadorial nominees. I mean, ambassadors that have already been designated to dispatch to their various countries. You will have a look at them just within a minute so that you can have get to know who is representing Nigeria in certain countries all over the world. And you can get help if you are in foreign land, in faraway countries from Nigeria. You can know your ambassador now with this clip. Please stay tuned with it. Welcome back. And of course, you saw the list of your ambassadors already. From wherever you are watching us, you can get to know your ambassadors. If you have any issue in any country of your residence or where you are citizen, you can rush to ensure that you meet the Nigerian ambassador to that country. The career ambassadors and the non-career ambassadors, yes. It's been over how many months they were designated. At last, they have been dispatched. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, diplomatically, I think I can say a lot because as a young man in '97, under the Abacha administration, I was a media consultant to our High Commissioner to Sierra Leone. Is now late Ambassador MC Abubakar, courtesy of the then National Security Advisor AIG Samaila Gorzo, retired, who gave me that opportunity. So about diplomatic setups, the advice I want to give is that there should be good ambassadors of Nigeria, especially to the non-career ambassadors, because when you talk about the career ambassadors, these are people who have rise through the what have you in the foreign affairs machinery. Yes. They might have been civil servants in the foreign affairs machinery, and you know, by hierarchy they also have some people that becomes ambassador within the system, maybe people that are up to directorate level and host of others. Therefore, the non-career, these are the people brought from political angle to come and be. So experience is lacking and what have you. They should learn from the attaches within the high commissions as well as the embassies, because sometimes you find out that the non-career ambassadors are always the problem. Even though first in history we have gotten first female Nigerian ambassador to the United States from Ebonyi. Yes, a learned woman, even though the husband is an APC member. He contested for governorship there. I know them very well.
I saw the list. I was happy. So I say, lady, to the United States of America.
Their interest should be protecting the interests of Nigerians, irrespective of class, abroad, in diaspora most especially. Because sometimes we have problem between Nigerians living abroad with our embassy officials, because most of the times you find that when they are supposed to come to the aid of Nigerians there, the purpose for why they are appointed, they don't do that. Some of them go there to do other businesses and also for they should desist from all this. What the Constitution says is that for any high commissioner or ambassador to be appointed is to uphold and defend the faults and rights of Nigerians in diaspora, irrespective of class or religion or tribe. Therefore, they should represent Nigeria in good image. Their essence is to redeem and make image for Nigeria. No matter what any foreign person will say, their task there is to correct certain wrong impression certain people abroad have about Nigeria, especially that we are facing this problem of armed banditry, kidnap related cases and terrorism. They should be able to tell people abroad that this insecurity is not peculiar to Nigerians alone. And as far as they are concerned, they should organize investment interaction between investors over there, between the commercial attaches in the embassies and high commissioner. I believe they will be able to avail the newly appointed ambassadors designate with certain run-ins of the high commissioners and embassies. Like I told you, I was a media consultant to a high commissioner, so this gave me the opportunity to know much about international diplomacy and even the run-ins in United Nations, African Union, and host of others, because Ambassador MC Abubakar was an erudite diplomat, high commissioner of repute. He was a classmate of Abacha and host of others. He was somebody that died for Nigeria. Unfortunately, during his time there was when the John Koroma junta ransacked the High Commission house in Freetown. And I want to say, up to date, federal government has not deemed it fit to immortalize late Ambassador MC Abubakar.
You don't mean it?
Yes, they destroyed his property. He lost a lot till he died. The Foreign Affairs Ministry, no federal government did not compensate late Ambassador Muhammadu Chadi Abubakar from Bauchi State. He sacrificed his life. He was even the one that made it possible for Abacha to send economic forces to go and bring back democratically elected government of Tijankaba that was Itato overthrown by John Koroma military junta. Even at that time, Fode Sanko, one of the rebels, was arrested by Abacha and brought to Nigeria here. He was under house arrest in Sheraton. I was among the young boys that was also in the system. So these are issues. So diplomacy should go beyond self-centered interests. They should portray Nigeria in good light so that at this time
they should not take their interests,
not self-centered interests,
patriotic
interests, country interests, citizen interests, as well as trying to bring investment drives to Nigeria, because we need at this time to enhance export than import. That is where they need to work with their commercial attaches as well as their information attaches, because you see, information go with commerce, commerce goes with information.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today. And Nigerians, I believe you have listened to an erudite analyst in the studio who is highly expertise in this field, Comrade Dantata Salihu. Salihu, I hope when we organize another program like diplomacy or diplomatic ties for the ambassadorial designated already all over the country, we are planning something so that from each nation we will begin to find out how Nigeria ambassador
high commissioners
are doing there, even the
including chart the affairs.
Yes, chart the affairs of the country and put the nation first for patriotism. It's not about dividing the nation like some people are suggesting that
we can never divide, like we've said it emphatically.
But if dividing the nation,
you know, your station is also a patriotic station.
Is a patriotic
because we
one.
even want the Nigerian Media Merit Award to give Television Nigeria 2021 Nigeria Media Merit Award because you have enthroned security, democracy, human rights, as well as social security.
Exactly.
So you deserve NNMC Award 2021.
Thank you very much, my erudite comrade. And as we end the program, please, MCR, give us the clip of the ambassadorial nominees again while we exit the office. Thanks for watching, and I have been Daniel Atai. Enjoy the clip and still recognize your ambassadors from wherever you are watching us. Thank you.